Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I want to be talking about the Sun conjunct Chiron in Synastry. Now, first off, the basic character, which is the Sun, and the Chiron, how the Chiron person helps and heals others can be strongly integrated. The Sun person may put a very intense focus on the Chiron person. Now, if we're to say, the conjunction, and really what I'm saying too is to keep in mind when you have the conjunction in the same sign, it can very well be true. You have, let's say if the Sun is in the zodiac sign Cancer and Chiron is in that same sign, and you have this conjunction in Synastry, then you have the basic fundamental character of the Sun in Cancer, naturally being very nurturing, sympathetic, caring, tenacious, dedicated, and devoted. And the Chiron person may heal in that same way, very in a very dedicated manner with a lot of nurturing energy, being protective, um, providing protection to somebody. And the thing about this too is, the Sun person again may put that intense focus and attention on the Chiron person's suffering. Chiron is in Taurus. Could be over monetary issues with self-worth, self-esteem. Chiron is connected with depleted self-esteem anyway, but if you have it in Taurus, it may be more intensified because Taurus is associated with self-worth. Another thing is that the Chiron person may desire to heal the Sun person in matters connected with life in general and attaining, their basic wants. If this conjunction is in Scorpio, it could be, matters connected, shared resources of support, whether it's moral, emotional, or monetary. Scorpio is about being resilient. It could be simply about being more resilient, bouncing back from adversity. It may be also, in some instances, this aspect, could indicate, where the Chiron person may cause physical or emotional wounds to the Sun individual. Keep in mind, Chiron is about physical and emotional wounds and suffering. The Sun has a connection with the physical body. Yes, the ascendant is what dominates the appearance and physical body, but the Sun plays a role in that as well. And because keep in mind that conjunctions are not all good. I mean, conjunctions are neutral aspects that can have good and bad qualities in them. Another thing about the synastry aspect is you have, as far as the Sun person may readily shine a light, so to speak, on the healing abilities of the Chiron individual. Um, if you have, if Chiron is in Pisces, might be able to heal others through spirituality or meditation, just relaxation in general. It could be about healing through the metaphysical, which includes astrology, through dancing, in some instances as some examples. Another thing too is that with the synastry aspect, the Sun person could also give guidance to the Chiron person on his or her own suffering that he or she may be enduring. Going back to the zodiac sign Taurus, it could be something with monetary nature. It could be lack of persistence and follow through on things, being a difficulty in persevering, generating one's own income. Chiron is also connected with depleted, self-worth. And the Chiron, I should say that the Sun person may give drive and motivation to the Chiron individual to deal with depleted self, or do what is necessary. I mean, if you have Chiron in the first house, it could be, something with the physical body that's causing the person to have depleted self-esteem, due to maybe your appearance. And you may be in the Sun person may drive and motivate the Chiron person to improve the physical body and appearance, such as working out vigorously, as an example. The Chiron person also may help, tap in, really the abilities, associated with their sign, to be able to, see the positive in their sun, their sun sign position, and use them to their advantage. And the thing is, another thing about, the sun person can help the Chiron person understand their deepest wound and do something about it. The sun is about the conscious. Sun, again, could help the Chiron person be more cognizant of what their deepest wound is, what their suffering actually is, what can they do really about it. And another thing about this, keep in mind, I stated this in my earlier videos and on the natal placement videos, and it applies to synastry aspects as well, is that never isolate any single one astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, not just one. And this is no, in synastry it applies as well. This aspect is no exception. One synastry aspect certainly doesn't make or break a relationship, and it applies to this aspect as well. Now, the Sun conjunct Chiron in synastry can be very intense, aspect as far as healing, and heal the Chiron person can really desire to heal the Sun person. The Sun person may have a strong focus and put attention on the Chiron person's suffering. But the thing about this too is, you got to also look at other aspects in the chart, modifying influences you can have. Now, let's just say, for example, somebody has the Sun conjunct Chiron in synastry. But let's say those same two people, they may have, one, may have, Chiron, adverse the ascendant in synastry. The Chiron person, the ascendant person may not, may be focused on their own self-centered interest and new beginnings, and not have put as much attention on the Chiron person's suffering. Maybe the Chiron person's suffering may conflict with what the ascendant person wants to do for his or herself, and might conflict with their own, what they want to do personally, more egocentric, needs or what have you. So, you'd have to look at, the whole picture in the chart and look at all the aspects, because, one aspect, again, does not make or break a connection. And, as an example, this certainly would apply to that as well. Another thing about having the Sun conjunct Chiron in synastry is that the Chiron person in some instances may cause suffering to the Sun person's ego, to some degree. So you have to, remember that conjunctions in astrology are neutral aspects. They have good and bad qualities, and it's not all good. They do have some negative that is in them as well. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.